Hi, let's get started with the tuning. So this is in drop D with a capo on 3. So our notes become F, C, F, A sharp, D and G. And we start off with the finger picking. So this starts with a little finger picking figure that repeats into the verse. So we start with our thumb on the low D string. Our ring finger is going to be on regular D4 and our first finger is going to be hovering over G2. And we play that low D string first, then our first finger plucks the D string, then our middle finger plucks the G string, and then we hammer on. So that's 1, E, and A. Then we play the A string on beat 2, and our ring finger plays the B on the E after 2, middle finger plays the G where your first finger on your left hand is stayed down on the 2nd fret, and then your first finger plays the D string. So we get 1, E, and A, then the open A string, then B, G, D, like that. And we play that twice to fill up the bar. So 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. We get 2 bars of that before the verse starts. Then we're into the main verse section, and that takes that riff, plays the first half, plays it to fill the first half of the bar. So we get 1 E and A, 2 E and A. Then we fill up the second half of the bar with this. We bring our middle finger to B3, pluck it and pull off. Then we pluck the G string at fret 2 with our middle finger and the D string with our first finger. So we get like that. So we've got 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A. Then we get 2 E minor 7 chords. So that's with our middle finger on low D2 and our ring finger on A2, and we pluck the low 4 strings. So that's D, or low D, A, D and G. Just those 4. So it's thumb and your first 3 fingers. Do that on beats 4 and the and after 4. So we get 4 and like that. So that whole phrase sounds like this. It's a little bit scruffy, but you get the idea. Then we repeat that whole phrase, except we replace the chord at the end. So we go. I'm playing A chord. So this is a funny A chord. Obviously there's a capo on, so it's really a kind of C chord, but don't worry about that. So our first finger bars the D, G and B strings at fret 2, and our pinky reaches over to the A to play an A note on the high E string. So that's the 8th fret. No. 5th fret, excluding the capo. So that's 2, 2, 2, 5, like that. And you play the open A and do a little roll, like that. Okay, and then we repeat the same phrase that we did before, ending with the E minor 7. So we've got this time the A, and then finally, and those are our first 3 phrases. Then we get into what I think of as the pre-chorus. This I play with my thumb over the top, which some people don't really like to do, but I find it quite comfortable and it makes some of the chords that come later a little bit easier to play. But if you don't like it, I'll show you another way to play it. So I use thumb on low D4, ring finger on D4, and first finger on G2. So it's like that chord from the beginning, but just with a different bass note. If you don't like that, you can use your ring finger instead for the bass note, pinky for D4, and first finger for G2. But either way, we change time signature here. So we're in 3/4 now. So we play thumb on beat 1. On the and after 1, you're going to pluck your first finger on the D string. So that's 1 and. Then G string next. Your first finger's on G2 there. So 1 and 2, like that. Then you're going to play the thumb again on the low D string on the and. So we've got 1 and 2 and. Then we play the B string for 3. And your middle finger on the G string for the and. So that's 3 and, like that, which sounds like 1 and 2 and 3 and. And we do that 3 times. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Then we change up to a new chord. This is a kind of G chord. Your thumb comes over the top, your ring finger to D, so that's low D5, ring finger on regular D5, middle finger on G4. And you can play the open B string as well, because it's tuned to the same note as that G string. And we pluck that 3 times. So that's thumb on the low string, first finger on D, middle finger on G, ring finger on B. And you're going to go 1, 2, 3. If you don't like using your thumb, you can use your ring finger for D5, low D5, pinky for D5, and middle finger for G4. Either way, you play that 3 times, and then you play the intro riff again. Do that 4 times. Then we get another verse, and it's nearly exactly the same. So you play, get that E minor 7, and this is the only difference. Instead of doing that kind of rolled A chord, you're going to play just an A power chord. So your first finger can come to D2, first finger to D2, G2, and B2. And you just play the A, D, and G strings like that. So thumb, first and middle on your right hand. And you just plug that once. That's the only difference. Then you do the E minor 7 again. And then we're back to that pre-chorus phrase, which is exactly the same. 3 of these. Oh, sorry. Like that. No, like this. So 3 of those. And then we come to a little bit of a change that leads us into the chorus. So we start with that same G chord. That's low D5, ring finger on G5, ring finger on regular D5, middle finger on G4. And we play 3 of those. This time you shouldn't play the B string. We'll play that in a second, okay? So we're going to play just the low D, regular D, and G with your thumb, your first finger, and your middle finger. Plug that 3 times. Then your pinky comes to the, what would that be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th fret of the G string, and you play that 3 times. So this is going from like a regular G to like a G sharp 11, very cool chord. We do that 3 times, then back to the regular G 3 times again, and then finally we're going to play another G chord, but just with a 1 higher note, and hit it once. So that's B3 we're adding to our chord. So this is the first time we play the B string in this section. So that's going to sound like G chord, G sharp 11, G chord, and then G chord with the extra note on the B string. And now that lasts for 3 beats, so don't wait 4 before you start into the chorus. That's a little bit of an easy mistake to make. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're into the chorus. So we've got a little D chord here, and we play this on beat 1. This is a sort of 16th note feel here. So this is 1, 2, E, and then we go to, so that's D chord, 1, 2. Strum that 2 times. I'm not using a pick here. I've just put my thumb and my first finger together, and I'm using like the outside of my index finger to strum down. So we're going to go 1, 2, E, and. So your pinky comes down onto fret 3 on the E. So that's 1, 2, E, and we go from like a D to a D sus4. And then on the and, you're going to do this little slide. And here you kind of need to mute the other strings. So you just get that high E string. You take the pressure off, release the tension on the G and B strings so that you're not pushing them down. And you strum through and get this sound like that. So that's 1, 2, E, and. We do a really, really similar phrase with a D major 7. This is kind of a line cliche thing where we go down through 3 versions of a D chord with this note just descending. So we've got 1, 2, E, and, then a D major 7, where you're just going to bar the 2nd fret on the G, B, and E strings. And that sounds like this. 1, 2, E, and, like that. Then we come to a D7 chord. So that was 2, 3, 5 on the high E string. This is D7 sus4 to start with. So we're going to bring our pinky to high E3, our first finger to B1, and our middle finger to G2. And we're going to go 1 and 2 and. So that's 3 strums with that D7 chord. And the first one, your pinky's on fret 3. Then your ring finger's on fret 2. Lift that pinky off. Then you just play the high E string open. So that's 1 and 2. And then we go to the slightly weird G chord. So there's lots of different ways you can play it. I think Joe, when he's live, just doesn't play the low note because it's a little bit awkward to stretch for. But if you're like me and don't mind using your thumb at the top, it's not so difficult to play. So the crucial thing is we need low D5. We need to not play the A string. and then we just want to cover the B string and the high E string at fret 3. So you can play that with your thumb like this. You can bring your ring finger over like that. I think Joe plays like a regular G chord, so that's A2, open D and G, ring and pinky on B and E3. And he just skips out that low note because he's got a bassist. The bassist is doing the low notes for him. But I like to play like this. And we play that, so that's down, up, down, down. Okay, then we repeat that whole phrase exactly the same, wholesale the same. Then we've got a slight variation here. So we're going to go to a regular D chord, and we've got this kind of, it doesn't start on the beat, so it's 1 E, what is it, 1 E and a 2 E, E and a 4 E. Yeah, something like that. So it doesn't start on the beat, we skip beat 1, play on an up strum, and we go E and a 4 E and. So, like that. So we've got 2 strums there where our middle finger comes off of the high E string, and we play the open high E string, so that's like that. Okay, so up, down, up, down, up, down. E and a 4, E and a 2 E and. Then the same kind of thing, but with a D7 chord. So that's E and a 4 E and a. So we get. And then we get this lovely ba, 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 ba. That's the leaves on the light, I think. Okay, and that's exactly the same as the one that we've already done before. So we play that, and then we get the first half of this. So we do kind of the D major thing with a slide, then just a couple of hits of a D major 7. He doesn't do the, it just goes. So, da, 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 da. Then we come to a sort of F chord. Again, kind of awkward to play with the low string, but I use my thumb at the top. So this is thumb on low D3, ring finger on D3, middle finger on G2, first finger on B1, and we don't play the A string or the high E string, so you can bring your thumb over the top to mute it, you can lean your ring finger into the A string, doesn't matter, but we don't want it. Although it does belong, it sounds a little bit messy, and we're going to mute the high E as well. And we're going to play, can't quite remember the rhythm on this, I think it's 1, 2, a 3 E and 4 and, something like that. And then we skip beat 1, so it's 1, 2, a 3 E and 4 and, skip beat 1 and take this whole shape up. Either you can take this whole shape up 1, 2, 3, 4 frets, so that's 7, 7, 6 and 5. Or you can just play regular A. I find myself doing this. It's a bit easier to mute, but you can play a regular A chord as well. And you're going to go and 2 and, like that. So that's 1, 2, a 3 E and 4 and 2 and, like that. And that gets us all the way to the second verse. So you just hold that and 2 and 3 and 4 and then you're straight in on the verse. You don't play that intro riff again yet. So you play another verse. Exactly the same as far as I can tell. Then we do the pre-chorus again, and that's also the same as the first pre-chorus. That's 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and then we get that like that, and then it's another verse, and then it's the intro riff again. That's the bit I skipped out on. Play that, and then we do a whole other verse, and again that verse is exactly the same. All that changes is the pre-chorus. So the pre-chorus has that same 3/4 riff, 3 bars of that. I think I should add in an extra beat, but who's counting? And then we have a slightly different lead into the second chorus. So we're going to come to that G chord, thumb comes over to D5, ring finger to regular D5, and middle finger to G4, and we're going to play 3 plucks of the G, 3 of that G sharp 11 with your pinky on the 2 frets higher than it was on the G string. Back to the regular G, and then we do a little minor 4 thing. It's a really, really lovely trick. It's in loads of songs where we play we're going to play like a minor version of that G chord. So we're going to bar the D and G, the G and B at fret 3. Keep our thumb on low D5 and our ring finger on regular D5, and we're going to just hit that once. So that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then we're back into a chorus, and the chorus is almost exactly the same. So we get twice. Oh, I forgot a bit in the first chorus. It's a good thing we went through this. So after the it doesn't go to G, it goes to E minor 7. I do apologise. So we do 3 strums of this chord. So that's first finger on low D2. This happens in the first chorus as well. Low D2, A2, and pinky on B3. And we're going to go 3 strums like that. 1 and 2 and E and 4 and then we go to the G. So it's 1 and 2 and E and 4. And so that's down, 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 G, up, down, down, down. That's the sort of 3rd phrase in the chorus. Then we do that intro bit again, or the first part of the chorus again. Couple of strums of D major 7, so like that. 1, 2, E and 3, 4. And then instead of going to the F chord and then the A chord, we go straight to the A chord, because this is a double chorus and this kind of links the 2 sections together. And we get this, we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and. It's almost all down strums, almost straight 8th notes, you just skip beat 3. So that sounds like this. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and. Completely miscounted that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and there we go, 3 times the charm. Then we do another chorus, and that chorus is exactly the same as far as I can tell as the first chorus, except for the rhythm on maybe one of the chords. No, actually I think it's all exactly the same. So we do another chorus, that's as I've taught you before, with that E minor 7 that I missed out at the beginning, or missed out the first time around. And then we're back into the intro riff, and this intro riff's exactly the same, but with 1 note different at the end. So we're going to play, do that 4 times. And then we get this note, sorry. Yeah, so that's G7 is a little natural harmonic. Like that, and that's on B1. So 1 E and a, 2 E and a, or 3 E and a, 4 E and a. So how do you do a natural harmonic? Well, you rest your pinky, or whichever finger you like, on the string directly above the fret. So this is on fret 7 relative to the capo. I'm resting directly above the fret, making a tiny bit of skin contact, and as soon as I pluck the string, oh, don't hit it that hard, I lift it off. So we get that sound, like that. It's a really, really pretty way to end the song. And I realised I forgot the very first chord. That's an A7 sus4. So the song does start with a little chord and then go into the intro riff. So that's D2, B3. Don't really mind how you play that. Use first finger and ring finger. You can play it however you like. Just don't play the low D string. And you can play open A, 2nd fret of the D, open G, B3 and the high E, and strum that through at the very beginning. All right, that's the whole thing. If you found that helpful, give the video a like. If you really like the way I teach lessons in person if you're in Liverpool and online if you're not. And there's a tab for this in the description, so give that a download if you have any trouble with it. If you have any really big questions about it, leave a comment, send me a DM, and I'm sure I can help you out with it. All right, take care.